We talk football and baseball this week on Inside EKU Sports, and we begin by meeting the Colonel's new baseball coach, Chris Prothro. Chris, welcome to EKU. I know it's been a whirlwind to get from South Alabama here to your new job. How are things going?
They're going about as well as could be expected. You know, I was welcomed to campus yesterday with the parking ticket on my first day in the office, so that was good. But outside of that, it's been really good. Had a chance to sit down with the team on Sunday, and then have been going through some individual meetings with players so they get to know me sooner rather than later. And it's been, as the interview process and all of it has gone so far, it's been better than expected to this point.
In the release, when they announced your hiring, you were quoted as saying pieces are in place to have championship-level success. What are those pieces that you see that are in place?
Ultimately, the biggest pleasant surprise for me was the campus itself and the university itself when I got here. I had never been here before, so kind of came into it with eyes wide open. I think small, lowered expectations just to hopefully see something that was exciting, kind of to be realistic in the expectations. Campus blew me away. What's been invested at campus over the last couple of years from a capital project standpoint and the buildings and the facilities were unbelievable. The facilities from a baseball standpoint, both the weight room, athletic facilities, but especially the stadium, better than I expected. And then I do think it's important to give credit where credit is due. The staff that was here in place, head coach Thompson and his staff have left the program in good standing with a good roster that has experienced some success. So it's not your typical, first-time head coach situation. Usually something has gone wrong or there's a culture that needs to be changed or a history of losing that needs to be changed. Like none of those things are true here. It's in a good place. There are things that need to get better because we all need to get better. But like I said, the foundation for a championship expectation, I think, has already been set when I stepped in.
You mentioned Coach Thompson, Edwin Thompson. He took the job at Georgetown University, and now you take over. And it's tough times. We did this the same interview with Walt Wells, the football coach. He takes over a program. COVID hits. You don't know where your schedule's going. The kids are facing a different situation. So there are some extra challenges that you'll face as you make this transition.
Well, no question. And number one is, we had our first team meeting on October 3rd. That's not typical, number one. And those guys have been here for a couple of months, and they've gone through about a month and a half without a head coach in place and have had to figure some things out on their own when it comes to that. Also with COVID, there's so much uncertainty around the protocols and being able to follow them correctly, what we can do both together and while they're on their own time. And again, they went through it last spring like we all did. The immediate shutdown of the season was uneasy for all of us. So, perspective is huge when it comes to these things. It makes the conversation easier when you talk to the players about, you never know when the last day may be. So you might as well make the most out of this day if it's given to you. And I think that's critical for all of us to have that type of perspective and also know that, yes, as much as I can understand what these guys have been going through, I haven't been here going through it with them. I can understand the discomfort they've gone through. I can understand the adversity that has gone along with it across the athletic department and with the program. But the expectations have not been lowered because of it. And what we're going to try to do as a team as we work through and towards the season, especially the end of it, the expectations will still be high. We will not make excuses.
You had good success as an assistant coach, 2 conference titles, 2 NCAA regionals, South Alabama. Before that, you were at Nichols for a while. So what's your baseball philosophy? I mean, what kind of team do you want to be?
I think the best way to answer that question is first to say, success comes from good players. To be a good coach, you need good players. And so recruiting is critical. You hear coaches say that all the time, but it becomes cliche to a certain extent, whether it's recruiting is the lifeblood of a program, et cetera. But it becomes cliche because it's true. You need players in your program that can help you win. They have the ability through their skill level, their makeup and character, all of those things that you can put together a team that gives you a chance to win on the field. Outside of that, we had the most success in both places, at Nichols and at South Alabama, with super athletic position players that were versatile, could move around, that were either strong when we recruited or had a chance to add strength once they got on campus with us. And then we need to be able to, because it starts and stops on the mound, we need to be able to pitch. So, athletic guys, they can play defense. Athletic pitchers, they can improve. They can throw strikes. They can command a couple different pitches. So you've got something that's got to show up every day right there. You need to play defense and you need to pitch. That's consistent. That doesn't slump. And then what you hope is you recruit some guys that continue to improve to give you a chance to be strong offensively, especially in a strong offensive league in the Ohio Valley. But it's going to start with the foundation of pitching and defense, and then we'll do the best we can offensively, because I know we were talking about before the show started about pitching. Sometimes good pitching beats good hitting. Most of the time, good pitching beats good hitting. But if you play defense and you throw strikes and you're competitive on the mound, you tend to be in more games than you're not at the end.
Between where you played, you played at Arkansas State, you've coached, so you're coaching in Louisiana and Alabama, so it's kind of the South that's your ground. Now you come north a little bit. Any concern that that's going to be a challenge or a transition for you, or baseball, and you can overcome that quickly?
Well, no, it will be a challenge. Absolutely. Different area of the country, a different region where I'm not as connected as I am in other parts. That doesn't mean I'm not connected at all, but it does. Sure, it's a challenge, but it's not a concern. Over the past 5 years, I have, as much as anyone really, I have recruited nationally. So nationally includes the Midwest, the Eastern Seaboard. You get the idea. And the whole reason I think that I'm here is because of my strengths in relationship building anyway. I told the guys that I met with them the other day, I think I'm a good baseball coach. That's still to be determined. Of course it is. But I don't think that's why I was hired here at Eastern Kentucky. I think I was hired because of my ability to create relationships, my ability to be able to speak to the team in front of them and convey a message where they know they have a head coach that has their best interest at heart in every decision that he makes. And you get the idea. So to be able to create and develop relationships, I think, is a strength of mine, and I'm looking forward to doing it in a new place.
Coach, great to have you on campus. Can't wait to see you and your team out at Combs Stadium and Turkey Hughes Field here this spring.
Thank you so much for having me. Hopefully we'll get together again soon.
Sounds good. Chris Prothro, the new baseball coach at EKU. When we come back, we'll talk to EKU football coach Walt Wells here on Inside EKU Sports.
At EKU, we believe education is the solution to challenging times. So, we're keeping college within your reach. This year, we're freezing tuition, dining, and housing fees, increasing financial aid for incoming students, and you can apply for free. We call it the EKU Advantage. Earn your degree on campus, online, or both. It's your choice. To learn more, visit advantage.eku.edu.
We talk Colonel football now. Eastern coming off a loss at home 33-30 to Houston Baptist in a game that ironically had 1,000 yards on the button of total offense. And Walt, your guys played great in the second half. I know you would love to have a do-over in the first half.
No question about it. I mean, you've got to play a full 60 minutes. Our kids battled. They competed. They were out there playing physical, doing the things they needed to do to give themselves a chance to win that football game. But in the end, that's why you play the game, is to win, and that's not what we did. And so, you're looking at the tape and you go back and review everything. The first half, we just couldn't get anything going on either side of the ball. We couldn't slow them down, and we couldn't, execute well enough on offense to get the points that we needed. We were down there in the red zone and early, had a tip ball. Probably should have been, blocked a little better with our tight end, but also in our tackle, but also, could have been delivered a little early and in anticipation, and got him the ball on the run and got him in the end zone that way instead of waiting for him to get close to the end zone. So those are things that we have to, address this open week, and we can't let opportunities go by like that, because winning is fragile. You don't get them. You don't get those opportunities, but so many times in a fall, and you can't let one go through your hands like that. And that's no disrespect to Houston Baptist. They're a good football team. They got a great quarterback. They do a great job with their system. I thought their defense played hard, and I think they're well coached. But I think, we could have done a lot more on both sides of the ball.
a lot better in the second half. You had 4 straight scoring drives. Alonzo Booth's running game eventually ended over 100 yards, and then you miss a PAT. It gets blocked, and they return it. Rather a tie game. It's 3. Still have a chance to come back, fumble there near midfield. I mean, it was just some days aren't your day, and boy, you guys had your chances there.
No, you can't shoot yourself in the foot that many times like we did, and some of it's seen and some of it's not seen by the casual fan, and we've got to fix that. That's what I talked to the team about yesterday. That losing's never. I go through each Sunday. I go through the improvements we made and the unacceptables. And unacceptable when we lose is always losing. It's unacceptable, and we have to correct the little mistakes and understand that little things make the big things go. If you worry about, your timing and you worry about your foot placement, and your hand placement, and your eyes, and when we tackle, we drive for 5 and contested footballs with our secondary, those are the things that we have to gain confidence in and do a better job in to give ourselves a chance to win against good football teams. And not that Citadel wasn't a good football team, but we did more of that. We played error-free football, so to speak, against Citadel. So, we have to do that in and day out because, you're just not going to win football games with 3 turnovers, 6 penalties that were all offsides on both sides of the ball. Those things will kill you, and that's what it did.
So it's an off week this week on October 10th, October 17th. The next FBS opponent in Troy. Chip Lindsay is their head coach. He's known as an offensive innovator, so another challenge with a wide-open offense coming.
No question. And Chip's in his second year there. He struggled a little bit last year, but, just getting his system in, the way he does things from the way Neil did them. And you can tell on tape, that they're a talented group. They're very talented. And so we got our work cut out for us. But, again, we're going for victory, and we're going to go down there and win the ball game. And so we've got to practice that away this week. We've got to do a couple of days on us, and then we're going to get into Troy and try to sew some things up that we need to get better at. And we got to go down and play our game. And it's like I told them Saturday, scoreboard's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. What matters is to play your plan. And if we can continue to believe in that and do that and play that play to the fullest of our ability, we give ourselves chances to win, just like we did Saturday. And so, and I'm very proud of our kids for doing that because it's hard to come back when you're down 3 scores.
Right.
And for them to come back and do that, that took a total team effort. And I don't want to overshadow that because we lost, but I don't want to glorify that either because, like I said, you have to win. And we'll have to do the same thing down in Troy. Well, it'll take a huge effort on our part, but you know what? Our kids are up for the challenge, and we're looking forward to it.
They have a great history at Troy, and they had a great linebacker there. He played defensive end there, DeMarcus Ware. We all know about him, and now they got a guy that may be the next one, number 2, Carlton Martial. He's a tremendous linebacker.
Well, there's no question, and they've got good players all around, on all sides of the ball there, or all sides of their defense too. And they in a fruitful area, to recruit from. There's good players down in that area that's not far to go to. I played Troy many times when I was at Western Kentucky, and matter of fact, Coach Hawkins, our defense line coach, is a former player there and a really good football player there, and we played him when we were in transition. So we're familiar with Troy as far as the program and the history. My first game here in 1997 when I came on board was the Troy game, and Greg, you probably remember that. We played that 9:00 Central Sports South game, and we got back at noon the next day. So that was a lot of fun, and we lost, and Coach Kidd wasn't very happy about that. But Troy's a great program. Chip does a good job. I've known Chip for a while. I recruited his high school. Actually, he coached Nick Mullins, who's the starter for San Francisco right now in high school, and I recruited him to Western Kentucky. He went to Southern Miss. But, Chip does a good job, and I'm looking forward to this week of practices and just focus on us getting better at us and going down there and doing everything we can to come away with a victory.
Finally, Walt, with everything that's happened and now some of the big conferences, the delay coming back and playing, EKU made the right decision. It's great to be playing football.
I wouldn't know how to not do anything other than coach football in the fall, and I think these players wouldn't know how to do anything other than play. Again, kudos to our whole administration, from Matt Roan to President McFadden to Chair Diaz, for making these decisions and supporting us and what we wanted to do. It's a different schedule. It's, people are getting to know these teams we're playing and different things like that. But I tell you what, I'm excited about the rest of the year. Our kids are doing a phenomenal job with their COVID restrictions so far, knock on wood, and they continue to do that. Everybody has their problems, as you see with the Titans and all these games that are going through right now. We're just thankful to be playing. I agree with you, Greg. There's no better time to play football. The weather's getting to where it needs to get to, and it's just good to be out there playing.
Appreciate it, Walt. Thanks very much. Walt Wells, the coach of the Colonels, and we'll get one of his star receivers on next in Keon Dixon when we come back here on Inside EKU Sports. We stay on the football theme now with senior wide receiver Keyon Dixon joining us. Keon, you're having a good senior year so far through 4 games, 17 catches, 3 touchdowns, 280 yards. Seems like you're really going up and beating the defenders to the ball. Do you feel like you've improved your game? That's what I see.
I definitely feel like I've improved my game just because in the off season, we didn't know whether we were going to have a season or not. So I know me and the guys tried to stay ready. And for me, it was just trying to improve my game with little things I can add to my game and trying to critique it in the right way. And I know Coach wanted a playmaker on the outside. Coming off of last season, I definitely feel like that could have been me. So just trying to, attack the ball in the air and be the guy Coach wanted me to be for the team.
You mentioned not knowing if you're going to have a season. The attitude changed a little bit when you were told we're going to play in the fall, we're going to have a full schedule. Coach Wells has said he saw a difference in the team once you knew where your path led you.
Yeah, it definitely helped because, when you're out there trying to, by yourself or with your teammates in the off season trying to get ready, we didn't really know what to prepare for. But once we had a schedule and a set schedule, we were looking forward to all of our opponents and trying to understand that, we just got to take it a game at a time now, and understanding that, every game is an opportunity to get better and just do what we've been preparing for in the off season.
The best catch of the year was that touchdown catch of 50 yards against the Citadel. You high-pointed the ball, batted it in the air, and then caught it. Take me through that, because like a car wreck, things slow down in a situation like that. What did you see?
From my perspective, I knew it was one-on-one coverage, and just whenever it's one-on-one, I feel like I always have the better matchup, or I feel like I have the advantage. So when Parker stepped up, I thought the play might be over, but he glanced over at me, and then he saw it was one-on-one coverage, and he gave me a shot to go up and make a play. And I just saw the ball in the air for a brief amount of time before I tried to just high point the ball at its highest point, and then I knew it was just going to be one-on-one. And he actually tipped it twice. So when he tipped it, I tried to bat it back to myself. And then it was kind of like a game of keep away at that point, where I just somebody has to come down with it. And I was just grateful that it was me.
The games are tough this year. I mean, the schedule is really tough. 3 FBS teams, the next one against Troy, the last of those. So this is a challenge. I mean, this team is being tested this year by really good opponents.
Definitely. I feel like the team in the offseason, we've prepared for that. But this being our hardest schedule, we just had to make sure we were doing what we had to do in practice, trying to prepare for a FBS level opponent, and just being ready for our number to be called. And whenever we got the opportunity, we wanted to show that we could compete with these guys at the higher level, and understanding that, they bleed just like we do. They practice just like we do. So it's not really a fear factor. It's just the fact that we can prove that we belong in any game with anybody.
I know you would love to play at the next level. What do you think you still have to do to prove that you're worthy of that?
I just think it's my consistency and my performance. And for me personally, I want to get up to a higher playing weight. Right now I'm at 192. I'd rather be at least 207 just to fill out my frame. That way, I can do all those things that all those playmakers make, like Devontae Adams and Julio Jones. I just want to be at that playing weight where I feel like I'm secure at any moment.
Back when you were in high school in Connecticut, you played quarterback, wide receiver, defensive back. So did that help you when you were younger see all angles of the game?
It definitely helped me in the sense that I knew what I was doing, where like when you play quarterback, you know the offense, you understand the offense. And when you play defensive back, you try to understand how the receiver is going to beat you or try to deploy on their weaknesses. So for me, this offseason, I wanted to understand the game from a more mental aspect, where I wanted to attack my DB in a different way and understand where he's going to be or where he's going to go. And then just helping Parker make the right reads and the right plays, just putting myself in a position to succeed for him.
You played at Connecticut, like Tim Boyle, who's now with the Packers, Tom Tabor, who was an offensive lineman at EKU. Make the switch to EKU, so you come off the East Coast. How have you settled in at EKU, and are you happy that you made this move?
I'm definitely happy that I made the move coming to EKU, just because of the success that other players have had coming from UConn to EKU, as well as just being in this atmosphere, in this environment. It definitely made me feel a lot better about my situation, not only academically, but football-wise. And then just being so far from home, it kind of gives me that sense of just isolation, where I can just focus on what I need to do to get better and where I want to go in life.
All right, Keon, keep up the good work this season. More highlights ahead for you here as we continue to play football. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, Keon Dixon, wide receiver with the EKU football team, and that wraps up another edition of Inside EKU Sports. Like and follow all of these social media pages to follow the Colonels throughout the season. And until next time, so long and go Big E.